Organic Mike here. Alright, I'm on the other side of the pond here. So earlier we were feeding the ducks across the way over there on the dock, and now this is getting close to the other side of the property, and the ducks are already done eating and they're just kind of hanging out. So this is the project I started last year. This is what I wanted to show you, the new frog habitat, because I didn't like the way the ducks were kind of bullying my frogs. I'll leave that. They were just basically eating all of them. But I've created more frogs on my property since then, so I have an abundance of these bullfrogs and Houston toads now, just within less than a year. I don't have video of it really, but maybe I'll get some video here next year or something of the thousands and thousands of tadpoles that were in this habitat that I created. But this was all just clay, flat clay, hard pan stuff. That this was the front side of the tank that we never finished due to the fact that this clay was just too hard to mess with. It was breaking the rippers. Literally, it broke a ripper on a dozer. So $700 later, I called the dozer project off, and I said, okay, well, I'm just going to leave this here. So, and it's a good thing I did, really, because this gives me the ability to do what I'm doing now, or it would just all be water, and I wouldn't have a way to fence off a nice little habitat for ducks. But I literally hand dug that right there. So if you see this water hose here, that goes back to the ram pump that you saw in the previous video, and that's what's feeding this habitat. There's an African variety of a moringa tree, and it's in survival mode right now because the drought. But I put some water on it and it's popping back out, so it's looking happy. So with this microclimate here, this little tropical paradise I'm creating, there's banana trees popping up. This cattail came up on its own. It's funny how nature does its own thing once it finds water. Over here, I'm trying to keep this video at least 5 minutes too. This is the African variety of the moringa tree. It's the one that starts with an S. It's not the Aliferia, it's the African variety. It's not as common as the other one, but I'm just seeing how they do around here. And I have the other moringa varieties planted everywhere around here, like this is the common one that I did the video about last year. It's just now popping up. So anyway, this is the new frog habitat, and this is where I did the water wheel video from last year. I don't know if you remember seeing that video. If you watched it, there was this boat right here, as a matter of fact, was going back and forth. And after a big flood we had early spring, the boat ended up down there some way, and you know, it was just a disaster. This got flooded out, and I decided to make it into a frog habitat, which was the original plan. But what's really cool here is next couple of months I'm going to make a water feature that runs off this water wheel. So it's going to make water shoot up in the air, and stay tuned for that one, because I got some pretty cool ideas how to work with air and the water, the combination of the two, to get the water shoot up into the air. So, but that water wheel there is driven by the air. Well, it all starts from the water well, comes out of there via the airlift pump, and then it goes into the trough, and it rolls downhill, hits my ram pump, and 700 feet later, I'm getting about a gallon per minute right there. Right there. And you hear that sound, that suction sound? I added, let me show you that real quick, because that's something a lot of people don't know about. Here's another moringa tree. Right in the center there, looking happy. That's the pretty common variety, Aliferia. Easy for you to say. This one right here, this is going to be a longer than 5-minute video. What I'm doing here is I discovered that if you aerate the water, it just seems to do more work for you. something about it structuring it, or it makes it fluffier, if you don't want to be non-scientific about it. But look at this. Take this little tube out and look at the difference in the water. The stream is not as chaotic, and the water wheel slows down because the stream is not as fat and fluffy, if you want to use a non-scientific, you know, way to describe it. So you can definitely see how the water wheel is slowed down. And when I add this, this is just a tube, okay? It's just like a straw. The only reason why the wire is sticking out the end here is just to hold it from dropping all the way down in here. Now I stick it back in there, and immediately you hear the suction. So the air, what's happening is the tube's long enough. This is just a T right here. I don't know if you can see it. This is just a T where the water's falling straight down there, going to the water wheel. And I discovered that when you let it breathe, it flows better. You know, just give it a little bit of air, basically. So it's basically like the reverse of an airlift pump, but the fact that the water's still wanting to go down, it's sucking the air through this tube, and it's basically injecting air into the water. And look how much faster the wheel's working now. So anyway, that's just something I wanted to share, and it works perfect. And you can actually make compressors that way. I think they're called Trump pumps. I think I'm saying that right. You can actually make a compressor. So if you have water falling into a tank coming from uphill somewhere, you can inject air the same way with that and trap the air coming down into the pond. So like 5 to 10 feet down, you have a chamber where you capture the air off of that, and you've created a little compressor. You can do the same thing on a water well and get more pressure. But anyway, this video is starting to get long, so I might stop it at 10 minutes just to see how big the files are. Anyway, I put the fence up here. By next year, I hope to have, let's see, passion vines and grapes like I have in the front yard growing along here. So this will be a nice little backdrop. So when you come down the driveway into the property, this will be the back side. You won't see this, but people cruising down Old MacDade Road see it all the time, so it'll be nice and pretty. And this is all it took to keep the ducks out. This stuff right here. It's about 2 feet tall. They won't touch it. They don't even want to go over it. So it's kind of funny. And eventually I'll find an old wind chime that I'll take apart. And that's going to be a wind chime instead of an old coffee. Somebody threw away a coffee pot, and that's the coffee strainer, stainless steel, and an old antenna that I'm using for just to be obnoxious. Kim thinks it's crazy, but I want it to make music, and that's all I had laying around. So when I have the wind chimes on there, or maybe I can find something, some old instruments to take apart and make this thing do some more music for me. So, and then it can be a musical water wheel. But this was the same mechanism I used last year for the water wheel boat concept. I like to change things up, you know, I get bored with them real quick. So this is the frog habitat, and there's actually fish in here. I saw fish yesterday. So, and I put the old Christmas trees. I say Christmas trees. The pine trees that people use for Christmas. I let them dry out for about a year so that the water didn't get sour, and I threw them in there. So that creates a nice little habitat for fish and frogs to, you know, stay safe from, you know, a water crane that might come in here accidentally or on purpose. So anyway, that's what the trees are there for. Alright, well, we can count down to our little 10-minute video here to see how big this file is going to be for upload. This is the Galaxy S3 in high definition, organicmic.com. Subscribe if you like.